It's coming up to 06:30 GMT. You're listening to the BBC World Service.
BBC World Service. This week's play of the week is a new production of William Shakespeare's King Henry IV, Part 1. Alex Sabin sets the scene.
England, 1402. The Earl of Northumberland and his son Henry Percy, nicknamed Hotspur, have inflicted a crushing defeat on the Scottish army at Homildon Hill. The Scots commander, the Earl of Douglas, is taken prisoner, and 500 of his troops are drowned in the River Tweed trying to escape. The troubled reign of Henry Bolingbroke, King Henry IV, beset throughout by rebellion and rumours of rebellion, appears to be entering a more stable phase. But while delighted to learn of Northumberland's victory, the king cannot hide his jealousy of Northumberland's honour-strewn son, Hotspur. Henry's own son, Harry, Prince of Wales, is an enormous disappointment to him. Rarely at court, the madcap Prince Hal prefers the company of such reprobates as Sir John Falstaff, a man of gargantuan appetites, but distinctly loose morals. King Henry's greatest wish is to launch a new crusade in the Holy Land and wage war, not for his own benefit, but under the sepulchre of Christ. In part, he seeks to make amends for having seized the crown from the hapless Richard II, murdered at Pomfret Castle. These are the events that shaped Henry IV's destiny. He has blood on his hands, and his conscience will not let him forget it.
All the water in the rough, rude sea can wash the balm from an anointed king. The breath of worldly men cannot depose the deputy. What must the king do now? Must he submit? The king shall do it. You may my glories and my state depose, but not my grief. Sweet to taste, prove indigestions. Oh, good. Conveyors are you all, that rise thus nimbly by a... Will his majesty give Richard leave to live? Woes to come. The children yet unborn shall feel this day as sharp to them. But in a Christian climate, souls refined should show so. Cousins, seize the crown. Seize the crown. Seize the crown. Seize the crown.
Henry IV, Part 1, by William Shakespeare, starring Julian Glover as King Henry IV, Jamie Glover as Henry, Prince of Wales, and Timothy West as Sir John Falstaff. Henry IV, Part 1.
So shaken as we are, so wan with care, find we a time for frighted peace to pant, and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strands afar remote. No more the thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armed hoofs of hostile paces, those opposed eyes which, like the meteors of a troubled heaven, all of one nature, of one substance bred, did lately meet in the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery, shall now, in mutual well-beseeming ranks, march all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. Therefore, friends, as far as to the sepulchre of Christ, whose soldier now, under whose blessed cross we are impressed and engaged to fight, forthwith a power of English shall we levy, to chase these pagans in those holy fields, over whose acres walked those blessed feet, which 1400 years ago were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. But this our purpose now is 12-month old, and bootless 'tis to tell you we will go. Therefore we meet not now. Then let me hear of you, my gentle cousin Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedience.
My liege, this haste was hot in question, and many limits of the charge set down but yesternight, when all athwart there came a post from Wales, loaden with heavy news, whose worst was that the noble Mortimer, leading the men of Herefordshire to fight against the irregular and wild Glendower, was by the rude hands of that Welshman taken, 1,000 of his people butchered, upon whose dead corpse there was such misuse, such beastly, shameless transformation by those Welsh women done, as may not be without much shame retold or spoken of.
It seems, then, that the tidings of this broil break off our business for the Holy Land.
This matched with other did, my gracious lord, for more uneven and unwelcome news came from the north, and thus it did import. On Holyrood Day, the gallant Hotspur there, young Henry Percy, and brave Archibald, that ever valiant and approved Scot, at Holmdon met, where they did spend a sad and bloody hour, as by discharge of their artillery and shape of likelihood the news was told. For he that brought them in the very heat and pride of their contention did take horse, uncertain of the issue any way.
Here's a dear, a true, industrious friend, Sir Walter Blunt, new lighted from his horse, stained with the variation of each soil betwixt that Holmdon and this seat of ours, and he hath brought us smooth and welcome news. The Earl of Douglas is discomfited. 10,000 bold Scots, 22 knights spoked in their own blood did Sir Walter see on Holmdon's plains. Of prisoners, Hotspur took Mordake, the Earl of Fife and eldest son to beaten Douglas, and the Earl of Athol, of Murray, Angus, and
Menteith.
And is not this an honourable spoil, a gallant prize, our cousin, is it not?
In faith, it is a conquest for a prince to boast of.
Yea, there thou makest me sad, and makest me sin in envy that my Lord Northumberland should be the father to so blessed a son who is the theme of honour's tongue, amongst a grove the very straightest plant, who is sweet fortune's minion and her pride, whilst I, by looking on the praise of him, see riot and dishonour stain the brow of my young Harry. Oh, that it could be proved that some night-tripping fairy had exchanged in cradle clothes our children where they lay, and called mine Percy, his Plantagenet. Then would I have his Harry, and he mine. But let him from my thoughts. What think you, coz, of this young Percy's pride? The prisoners which he in this adventure hath surprised, to his own use he keeps, and sends me word I shall have none but Mordake, Earl of Fife.
This is his uncle's teaching. This is Worcester, malevolent to you in all aspects, which makes him prune himself and bristle up the crest of youth against your dignity.
But I have sent for him to answer this, and for this cause a while we must neglect our holy purpose to Jerusalem. Cousin, on Wednesday next our council we will hold at Windsor, so inform the lords, but come yourself with speed to us again. For more is to be said and to be done than out of anger can be uttered.
I will, my liege.
Oh, no. Hell. What time of day is it, lad?
Thou art so fat-witted with drinking of old sack and unbuttoning thee after supper and sleeping upon benches afternoon that thou hast forgotten to demand that truly which thou wouldst truly know. What a devil hast thou to do with the time of the day? Unless hours were cups of sack, and minutes capons, and clocks the tongues of boards, and dials the signs of leaping houses, and the blessed sun himself, a fair hot wench in flame-coloured taffeta, I see no reason why thou shouldst be so superfluous to demand the time of the day.
Thou art indeed the most competitive, rascaliest, sweet young prince. Thou hast done much harm upon me, Hal. God forgive thee for it. Before I knew thee, I knew nothing. And now am I, if a man should speak truly, little better than one of the wicked. I must give over this life. And I will give it over. By the Lord, and I do not, I'm a villain. I'll be damned for never a king's son in Christendom.
Where shall we take a purse tomorrow, Jack?
Oh, zoons, where thou wilt that. I'll make one, and I do not call me a villain and baffle me.
I see a good amendment of life in thee from praying to purse-taking.
Why, Hal, 'tis my vocation, Hal. 'Tis no sin for a man to labour in his vocation. Boys! Oh, if men were to be saved by merit, what hole in hell were hot enough for him? This is the most omnipotent villain that ever cried stand to a true man.
Good morrow, Ned.
Good morrow, sweet Hal. Oh, my lads, tomorrow morning by 4 o'clock, early at Gad's Hill, there are pilgrims going to Canterbury with rich offerings, and traders riding to London with fat purses. I have visits for you all, you have horses for yourselves. I have bespoke supper tomorrow night in Eastcheap. Oh, we may do it as secure as sleep. If you will go, I will stuff your purses full of crowns. If you will not, tarry at home and be hanged.
Yet would if I tarry at home and go not, I'll hang you for going.
Oh, you will, Chops.
Hal, wilt thou make one?
Who, I, Rob? I, a thief? Not I, by my faith.
There's neither honesty, manhood, nor good fellowship in thee, nor thou camest not of the blood royal, if thou dost not stand for 10 shillings.
Well, come what will, I'll tarry at home.
By the Lord, I'll be a traitor then when thou art king.
I care not.
Sir John, I prithee, leave the prince and me alone. I will lay him down such reasons for this adventure that he shall go.
Well, God give thee the spirit of persuasion and him the ears of profiting, that what thou speakest may move, and what he hears be believed. Farewell. You shall find me in Eastcheap.
Farewell, thou latter spring. Farewell, all hallowed summer.
Farewell. Now, my good sweet honey lord, ride with us tomorrow. I have a jest to execute that I cannot manage alone. Falstaff, Bardolph, Peto and Gad's Hill shall rob those men that we have already waylaid. Yourself and I will not be there. And when they have the booty, if you and I do not rob them, cut this head off from my shoulders.
How shall we part with them in setting forth?
Why, we will set forth before or after them and appoint them a place of meeting wherein it is at our pleasure to fail. And then will they adventure upon the exploit themselves, which they shall have no sooner achieved, but will set upon them.
Yeah, but 'tis like they will know us by our horses, by our habits, and by every other appointment to be ourselves.
God, our horses they shall not see. I'll tie them in the wood. Our vizards we will change after we leave them. And, sirrah, I have cases of buckram for the nonce, to enmask our noted outward garments.
Yeah, but I doubt they will be too hard for us.
Well, for 2 of them, I know them to be as true-bred cowards as ever turned back. And for the 3rd, if he fight longer than he sees reason, I'll forswear arms. Now, the virtue of this jest will be the incomprehensible lies that this same fat rogue will tell us when we meet at supper. How 30 at least he fought with, what wars, what blows, what extremities he endured. And in the reproof of this lies the jest.
Well, I'll go with thee. Provide us all things necessary and meet me tomorrow night in Eastcheap. There I'll sup. Farewell.
Farewell, my lord.
I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humour of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at, by breaking through the foul and ugly mists of vapours that did seem to strangle him. If all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. But when they seldom come, they wished for come. Nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behaviour I throw off, and pay the debt I never promised, by how much better than my word I am, by so much shall I falsify men's hopes. And like bright metal on a sullen ground, my reformation glittering o'er my fault shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. I'll so offend to make offence a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will.
My blood hath been too cold and temperate, unapt to stir at these indignities, and you have found me, for accordingly you tread upon my patience. But be sure, I will from henceforth rather be myself mighty and to be feared than my condition, which hath been smooth as oil, soft as young down, and therefore lost that title of respect which the proud soul ne'er pays but to the proud.
Our house, my sovereign liege, little deserves the scourge of greatness to be used on it, and that same greatness too which our own hands have holp to make so portly.
My lord! Worcester, get thee gone, for I do see danger and disobedience in thine eye. Oh, sir, your presence is too bold and peremptory, and majesty might never yet endure the moody frontier of a servant brow. You have good leave to leave us. When we need your use and counsel, we shall send for you.
My sovereign liege.
You were about to speak, my Lord Northumberland.
Yea, my good lord. Those prisoners in your highness' name demanded, which Harry Percy here at Holmdon took, were, as he says, not with such strength denied as is delivered to your majesty. Either envy, therefore, or misprison is guilty of this fault, and not my son.
My liege, I did deny no prisoners. But I remember, when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, breathless and faint, leaning upon my sword, came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed, fresh as a bridegroom, and his chin new reaped showed like a stubble land at harvest home. Oh, he was perfumed like a milliner, and twixt his finger and his thumb he held a poom-set box, which ever and anon he gave his nose and tucked away again. Who therewith angry, when it next came there, took it in snuff, and still he smiled and talked. And as the soldiers bore dead bodies by, he called them untaught knaves, unmannerly to bring a slovenly unhandsome course betwixt the wind and his nobility. With many holiday and lady terms he questioned me, amongst the rest demanded my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, all smarting with my wounds being cold to be so pestered with a popinjay, out of my grief and my impatience, answered neglectingly I know not what he should or he should not. For he made me mad to see him shine so brisk and smell so sweet and talk so like a waiting gentlewoman of guns and drums and wounds, God save their mark. And telling me the sovereignest thing on earth was Parmacetti for an inward bruise, and that it was a great pity, so it was, this villainous saltpeter should be digged out of the bowels of the harmless earth, which many a good tall fellow had destroyed so cowardly. And but for these vile guns, he would himself have been a soldier. This bald, unjointed chat of his, my lord, I answered indirectly, as I said, and I beseech you, let not his report come current for an accusation betwixt my love and your high majesty.
Circumstance considered, good my lord, whate'er Lord Harry Percy then had said to such a person, and in such a place, at such a time, with all the rest retold, may reasonably die, and never rise to do him wrong, or any way impeach what then he said, so he unsay it now.
Why, yet he doth deny his prisoners, but with proviso and exception that we at our own charge shall ransom straight his brother-in-law, the foolish Mortimer, who on my soul hath wilfully betrayed the lives of those that he did lead to fight against that great magician damned Glendower, whose daughter, as we hear, the Earl of March hath lately married. Shall our coffers then be emptied to redeem a traitor home? Shall we buy treason and indent with fears when they have lost and forfeited themselves? No. On the barren mountains let him starve. For I shall never hold that man my friend, whose tongue shall ask me for 1 penny cost to ransom home revolted Mortimer.
Revolted Mortimer? He never did fall off, my sovereign liege. But by the chance of war, to prove that true, needs no more but 1 tongue for all those wounds, those mouthed wounds which valiantly he took, when on the gentle Severn sedgy bank in single opposition, hand to hand, he did confound the best part of an hour in changing hardiment with great Glendower. And let nor him be slandered with revolt.
Thou dost belie him, Percy, thou dost belie him. He never did encounter with Glendower. I tell thee, he does as well have met the devil alone as Owen Glendower for an enemy. Art thou not ashamed? But, sirrah, henceforth let me not hear you speak of Mortimer. Send me your prisoners with the speediest means, or you shall hear in such a kind from me as will displease you. My Lord Northumberland, we license your departure with your son. Send us your prisoners, or you will hear of it.
And if the devil come and roar for them, I will not send them. I will have to straight and tell him so, for I will ease my heart, albeit I make a hazard of my head.
What? Drunk with choler? Stay and pause a while. Here comes your uncle.
Speak of Mortimer. Zoons, I will speak of him, and let my soul want mercy if I do not join with him. Yea, on his part I'll empty all these veins and shed my dear blood drop by drop in the dust, but I will lift the downtrodden Mortimer as high in the air as this unthankful king, as this ingrate and cankered Bolingbroke.
Brother, the king hath made your nephew mad.
Who struck this heat up after I was gone?
He will, forsooth, have all my prisoners. And when I urged the ransom once again of my wife's brother, then his cheek looked pale, and on my face he turned an eye of death, trembling even at the name of Mortimer.
I cannot blame him. Was not he proclaimed by Richard that dead is the next of blood?
He was. I heard the proclamation. And then it was when the unhappy king, whose wrongs sinners God pardon, did set forth upon his Irish expedition, from whence he intercepted did return to be deposed and shortly murdered.
And for whose death we in the world's wide mouth live scandalized and foully spoken of.
But soft, I pray. Did King Richard then proclaim my brother Edmund Mortimer heir to the crown?
He did. Myself did hear it.
Yeah. I cannot blame his cousin king that wished him on the barren mountain starve. But shall it be that you, that set the crown upon the head of this forgetful man, and for his sake wear the detested blot of murderous subornation, shall it be that you a world of curses undergo, being the agents or base second means, the cords, the ladder, or the hangman, rather? Oh, pardon me that I descend so low to show the line and the predicament wherein you range under this subtle king. Shall it, for shame, be spoken in these days? Or fill up chronicles in time to come that men of your nobility and power did gauge them both in an unjust behalf, as both of you, God pardon it, have done, to put down Richard, that sweet, lovely rose, and plant this thorn, this canker Bolingbroke? And shall it in more shame be further spoken that you're fooled, discarded and shook off by him for whom these shames ye underwent? No, yet time serves wherein you may redeem your banished honours, and restore yourselves into the good thoughts of the world again. Revenge the jeering and disdain contempt of this proud king, who studies day and night to answer all the debt he owes to you, even with the bloody payment of your deaths. Therefore I say...
Peace, cousin! Say no more.
I cry you mercy.
Those same noble Scots that are your prisoners.
Oh, I'll keep them all. By God, he shall not have a Scot of them. No, if a Scot would save his soul, he shall not. I'll keep them by this hand.
You start away and lend no ear unto my purposes. Those prisoners you shall keep.
No, I will, and that's fine. He said he would not ransom Mortimer. Forbade my tongue to speak of Mortimer. But I will find him when he lies asleep, and in his ear I'll holler, Mortimer! Nay, I'll have a starling shall be taught to speak nothing but Mortimer, and give it him to keep his anger still in motion.
Hear you, cousin, the word.
All studies here I solemnly defy, save how to gall and pinch this Bolingbroke. And that same sword and buckler Prince of Wales, but that I think his father loves him not, and would be glad he met with some mischance, I would have him poisoned with a pot of ale.
Farewell, kinsman. I'll talk to you when you're better tempered to attend.
My uncle...
Why, what a wasp-stung and impatient fool art thou to break into this woman's mood, tying thine ear to no tongue but thine own.
Why, look you, I am whipped and scourged with rods, nettled and stung with pismires when I hear of this vile politician Bolingbroke. In Richard's time, what do you call the place? Plague upon us in Gloucestershire. It was where the madcap duke his uncle kept. His uncle York. Where I first bowed my knee onto this king of smiles, this Bolingbroke. Blood, when you and he came back from Ravensburg.
At Berkeley Castle.
You say true. Why, what a candy deal of courtesy this fawning greyhound then did proffer me. Look, when his infant fortune came to age, and gentle Harry Percy, and kind cousin. Oh, the devil take such cousins! God forgive me. Good uncle, tell your tale, I've done.
Nay, if you have not to it again, we will stay your leisure.
I have done, i' faith.
Then once more to your Scottish prisoners. Deliver them up without their ransom straight, and make the Douglas son your only mean for powers in Scotland, which for divers reasons, which I shall send you written, be assured will easily be granted. You, my lord, your son in Scotland, being thus employed, shall secretly into the bosom creep of that same noble prelate, well beloved, the Archbishop.
Of York, is it not?
True, who bears hard his brother's death at Bristol, the Lord Scroope. I speak not this in estimation as what I think might be, but what I know is ruminated, plotted, and set down, and only stays but to behold the face of that occasion that shall bring it on.
Oh, I smell it. Upon my life, it will do well.
Oh, before the game is afoot, thou still let slip.
Why, it cannot choose but be a noble plot. And then the power of Scotland and of York to join with Mortimer, eh?
And so they shall.
Oh, in faith, it is exceedingly well aimed.
And 'tis no little reason bids us speed to save our heads by raising of a head. Forbear ourselves as even as we can. The king will always think him in our debt, and think we think ourselves unsatisfied, till he hath found a time to pay us home. And see already how he doth begin to make us strangers to his looks of love.
He does. He does. We'll be revenged on him.
Cousin, farewell. No further go in this than I by letter shall direct your course. When time is ripe, which will be suddenly, I'll steal to Glendower and Lord Mortimer, where you and Douglas and our powers at once, as I will fashion it, shall happily meet, to bear our fortunes in our own strong arms, which now we hold at much uncertainty.
Farewell, good brother. We shall thrive, I trust.
Uncle, adieu. Oh, let the hours be short till fields and blows and groans applaud our sport.
Come, Al, shelter, shelter. I've removed Falstaff's horse and he frets like a gummed velvet.
Stand close.
Poins! Poins and be hanged! Poins!
Peace, you fat-kidneyed rascal. What a brawling dost thou keep?
Where's Poins, Hal?
He's walked up to the top of the hill. I'll go seek him.
I'm accursed to rob in that thief's company. The rascal hath removed my horse and tied him I know not where. If I travel but 4 foot by the square further afoot, I shall break my wind. Well, I doubt not but to die a fair death for all this, of my scape hanging for killing that rogue. I've forsworn his company hourly any time this 22 years, and yet I'm bewitched with the rogue's company. If the rascal has not given me medicines to make me love him, I'll be hanged. It could not be else. I've drunk medicines. Poins! Hell! A plague upon you both! Bardolph! Peto! A plague upon you all! Give me my horse, you rogues! Give me my horse and be hanged!
Peace, you fat guts. Lie down, lay thine ear close to the ground, and list if thou canst hear the tread of travellers.
Have you any levers to lift me up again, being down? Splod, I'll not bear my own flesh so far foot again for all the coin in thy father's exchequer. What a plague mean ye to colt me thus?
Thou liest. Thou art not colted. Thou art uncolted.
I prithee, good prince, help me to my horse, good king's son.
Out, you rogue. Shall I be your ostler?
Go hang thyself in thine own heir apparent garters. If I be ta'en, I'll peach for this. If I've not ballads made on you all and sung to filthy tunes, let a cup of sack be my poison. Where a jest is so forward and a foot too, I hate it.
Stand!
So I do, against my will.
Bardolph, what news, sir?
Casey, on with your visits. There's money of the king's coming down the hill. 'Tis going to the king's exchequer.
You lie, you rogue. 'Tis going to the king's tavern.
There's enough to make us all.
And to be hanged.
Sirs, you four shall front them in the narrow lane. Ned, Poins and I will walk lower. If they escape from your encounter, then they light on us.
Well, how many be there of them?
Some 8 or 10.
Soon will they not rob us?
What, a coward, Sir John Paunch?
Indeed, I am not John of Gaunt, your grandfather, but yet no coward, Hal.
Well, we leave that to the proof.
Sirrah Jack, thy horse stands behind the hedge. When thou needest him, there thou shalt find him. Farewell. and stand fast.
Now cannot I strike him if I should be hanged?
Ned, where are our disguises?
Here, hard by. Stand close.
Now, my masters, happy man be his dole, say I. Every man to his business.
The boys shall lead our horses down the hill. We'll walk afoot a while and ease our legs.
Thieves have bound the true men. Now could thou and I rob the thieves and go merrily to London, it will be argument for a week, laughter for a month, and a good jest forever.
Shh, stand close, I hear them coming.
Had a share, and then to horse before day. And the prince and Poins be not two arrant cowards. There's no equity stirring. There's no more valor in that Poins than in a wild duck.
You're listening to the BBC World Service. This is WNYE New York.
Got with much ease. Now merrily to horse. The thieves are all scattered and possessed with fear so strongly that they dare not meet each other. Each takes his fellow for an officer. Away, good Ned. Falstaff sweats to death, and lards the lean earth as he walks along. Were it not for laughing, I should pity him.
How the fat rogue roared!
But for mine own part, my lord, I could be well contented to be there in respect of the love I bear your house. He could be contented. Why is he not, then? In respect of the love he bears our house, he shows in this. He loves his own barn better than he loves our house. Let me see some more. The purpose you undertake is dangerous. Why, that's certain. 'Tis dangerous to take a cold, to sleep, to drink. But I tell you, my lord fool, out of this nettled danger we pluck this flower safety. The purpose you undertake is dangerous. The friends you have named uncertain, the time itself unsorted, and your whole plot too light for the counterpoise of so great an opposition. Say you so? Say you so? I say unto you, again, you are a shallow, cowardly hind, and you lie. What a lack brain is this? By the Lord, our plot is as good plot as ever was laid. Our friends, true and constant, a good plot, good friends, and full of expectation. An excellent plot, very good friends. What a frosty-spirited rogue is this? What, my Lord of York commends the plot and the general course of action. Zounds, and I were now by this rascal, I could brain him with his lady's fan. Now, Kate, I must leave you within these 2 hours.
Oh, my good lord, why are you thus alone? For what offence have I this fortnight been a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is that takes from thee thy stomach, pleasure, and thy golden sleep?
Okay,
Why dost thou bend thine eyes upon the earth, and start so often when thou sitt'st alone? Why hast thou lost the fresh blood in thy cheeks, and given my treasures and my rights of thee to thick-eyed musing and cursed melancholy?
Please.
Some heavy business hath my lord in hand, and I must know it, else he loves me not.
What ho?
Oh.
Sir?
Is Gilliam's with the packet gone?
He is, my lord, an hour ago.
Has Butler brought those horses from the sheriff?
One horse, my lord, he brought even now.
What horse? A roan? Crop here, is it not?
It is, my lord.
And that roan shall be my throne. Well, I'll back him straight. Oh, Esperance. Bid Butler lead him forth into the park.
My lord.
But hear you, my lord?
What's say, my lady?
What is it carries you away?
What, my horse, my love, my horse.
Out, you mad-headed ape! A weasel hath not such a deal of spleen as you are tossed with. In faith, I'll know your business, Harry, that I will. I fear my brother Mortimer doth stir about his title and hath sent for you to line his enterprise, but if you go...
So far afoot I shall be weary, love.
Come, come, you parakeeto, answer me directly unto this question that I ask. In faith, I'll break thy little finger, Harry, and if thou wilt not tell me all things true...
Away! Away, you trifler. Love?
I love thee not. I care not for thee, Kate. This is no world to play with mammets and to tilt with lips. We must have bloody noses and cracked crowns and pass them current too. Oh, God's me, my horse.
Harry!
What sayest thou, Kate? What wouldst thou have with me?
Do you not love me? Do you not indeed? Well, do not then, for since you love me not, I will not love myself. Do you not love me? Nay, tell me if you speak in jest or no.
Come. Not to see me ride? And when I'm on horseback, I will swear I love thee infinitely. But hark ye, Kate. I must not have you henceforth question me whither I go, nor reason whereabout. Whither I must, and to conclude, this evening must I leave you, gentle Kate. I know you're wise, but yet no farther wise than Harry Percy's wife. Constant you are, but yet a woman. And for secrecy, no lady closer, for I well believe thou wilt not utter what thou dost not know. And so far will I trust thee, gentle Kate.
How? So far?
Not an inch further. But hark ye, Kate. Whither I go, thither shall you go too. Today I will set forth, tomorrow you. Will this content you, Kate?
It must, of force.
What's the clock, Francis?
Non, sir.
Hoynes?
Non, sir.
That ever this fellow should have fewer words than a parrot, and yet the son of a woman. His industry is upstairs and downstairs. His eloquence the parcel of a reckoning. I am not yet of Percy's mind, the Hotspur of the north. He that kills me some 6 or 7 dozen of Scots at a breakfast, washes his hands and says to his wife, "Fie upon this quiet life, I want work." "Oh, my sweet Harry," says she, "how many hast thou killed today?" "Give my roan horse a drench," says he, and answers, "Some 14, an hour after." A trifle. Sirrah, Falstaff and the rest of the thieves are at the door. Shall we be merry?
As merry as crickets, my lad.
I prithee, call in Falstaff. I'll play Percy, and that damned Brawn shall play Dame Mortimer, his wife.
Welcome, Jack. Where hast thou been?
A plague of all cowards, I say, and a vengeance too, marry and amen. Give me a cup of sack, boy. Ere I lead this life long, I'll sow nether stocks and mend them and foot them too. A plague of all cowards. Give me a cup of sack, rogue. Is there no virtue extant?
Didst thou never see Titan kiss a dish of butter? Pitiful-hearted Titan that melted at the sweet tale of the sons. If thou didst, then behold that compound.
You rogue, there's lime in this sack too. There's nothing but roguery to be found in villainous man. Yet a coward is worse than a cup of sack with lime in it. A villainous coward. Go thy ways, old Jack. Die when thou wilt. If manhood, good manhood, be not forgot upon the face of the earth, then am I a shotten herring. There live not 3 good men unhanged in England, and one of them is fat and grows old. God help the while. A bad world, I say. I would a weaver. I could sing psalms or anything. A plague of all cowards, I say still.
How now, Woolsack? What mutter you?
A king's son. You, Prince of Wales.
Why, you horsing round man? What's the matter?
Are you not a coward? Answer me to that. And Poins there.
Zoons, you fat paunch, and you call me coward. By the Lord, I'll stab thee.
I call thee coward? I'll see thee damned ere I call thee coward. But I give £1,000 I could run as fast as thou canst. You're straight enough in the shoulders, you care not who sees your back. Call you that backing of your friends a plague upon such backing? Give me them that'll face me. Give me a cup of sack. I'm a rogue if I drunk today.
Oh, villain, thy lips are scarce wiped since thou drunkest last.
Ball's one for that. A plague of all cowards, still say I.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? There'll be foreigners here have ta'en £1,000 this day morning.
Where is it, Jack? Where is it?
Where is it? taken from us, it is. 100 upon poor four of us.
What, 100 man?
I am a rogue if I were not half sword with a dozen of them 2 hours together. I've escaped by miracle. I'm 8 times thrust through the doublet, 4 through the hose, my buckler cut through and through, my sword hacked like a handsaw, ecce signum. I never dealt better since I was a man. All would not do. Plague of all cowards. Let them speak. If they speak more nor less than the truth, they're villains and the sons of darkness.
Speak, sirs, how was it?
We 4 set upon some dozen.
16 at least, my lord.
Well, and bound them.
No, they were not bound.
You rogue, they were bound, every man of them. I am a Jew, else an Hebrew Jew.
As we were sharing, some 6 or 7 fresh men set upon us.
And unbound the rest, and then come in the other.
What, fought you with them all?
All? I know not what you call all. If I fought not with 50 of them, I'm a bunch of radish. If there were not 2 or 3 and 50 upon poor old Jack, then I'm no 2-legged creature.
Pray God you have not murdered some of them.
Nay, that's past praying for. I have peppered 2 of them. 2, I am sure I paid. 2 rogues in buckram suits. I'll tell thee what, Hal. If I tell thee a lie, spit in my face, call me horse. 4 rogues in buckram let drive at me.
What for? Thou saidst but 2 even now.
4, Hal, I told thee 4.
Aye, he said 4.
These 4 came all affront and mainly thrust at me. I made me no more ado, but took all their 7 points in my target, thus.
7? Why, there were but 4 even now.
In buckram?
Aye, 4 in buckram suit.
7 by these hilts, or I'm a villain else.
Prithee, let him alone. We shall have more anon.
Dost thou hear me, Hal?
Aye, and mark thee too, Jack.
Do so, for it is worth the listening. These 9 in buckram that I told thee of.
So, 2 more already.
Their points being broken.
Down fell their hose.
Began to give me ground. But I followed me close, came in foot and hand, and with a thought, 7 of the 11 I paid.
Oh, monstrous! 11 buckram men grown out of 2.
But, as the devil would have it, 3 misbegotten knaves in Kendal Green came at my back and let drive at me, for it was so dark, Hal, that thou couldst not see thy hand.
These lies are like their father that begets them.
What?
Gross as a mountain, open, palpable. Why, thou clay-brained guts, thou knotty-pated fool, thou whoreson, obscene, greasy tallow.
What, art thou mad? Art thou mad? Is not the truth the truth?
Why, how couldst thou know these men in Kendal Green when it was so dark thou couldst not see thy hand? Come, tell us your reason. What sayest thou to this?
Come, your reason, Jack, your reason.
What, upon compulsion? Zoons, and I were at the Strappado or all the wrecks in the world, I would not tell you on compulsion. Give you a reason on compulsion, if reasons were plentiful as blackberries. I would give no man a reason upon compulsion,
I'll be no longer guilty of this sin. This sanguine coward, this bed-presser, this horseback breaker, this huge hill of flesh.
Blood, you starveling, you eel-skin, you dried neat's tongue, you bull's pistol, you stockfish. Oh, for breath to utter what is like thee, you tailor's yard, you sheath, you bouquets, you vile standing tuck.
Well, breathe a while and then do it again. And when thou hast tired thyself in base comparisons, hear me speak but this.
Mark, Jack.
We 2 saw you 4 set on 4 and bound them and were masters of their wealth. Mark now how a plain tale shall put you down. Then did we 2 set on you 4, and with a word outfaced you from your prize and have it. Yea, I can show it you here in the house. And Falstaff, you carried your guts away as nimbly, with as quick dexterity, and roared for mercy, and still run and roared as ever I heard bull calf. What a slave art thou to hack thy sword as thou hast done, and then said was in fight. What trick, what device, what starting hole canst thou now find out to hide thee from this open and apparent shame?
Come, let's hear, Jack. What trick hast thou now?
By the Lord, I knew ye as well as he that made you. I hear you, my masters. Was it for me to kill the heir apparent? Should I turn upon the true prince? Why, thou knowest I'm as valiant as Hercules, but beware instinct. The lion will not touch the true prince. Instinct is a great matter. I was now a coward upon instinct. I shall think the better of myself and thee during my life. I for a valiant lion, and thou for a true prince. But by the Lord, lads, I'm glad you have the money. Hostess, clap to the doors, watch tonight, pray tomorrow. Gallants, boys, lads, hearts of gold, all the titles of good fellowship come to you. What? Shall we be merry? Shall we have a play extempore?
Content! And the argument shall be thy running away.
No more of that, Helen, thou lovest me.
Oh, please you, my lord the prince.
How now, my lady the hostess? What sayest thou to me?
Nay, my lord, there is a nobleman of the court at door would speak with you. He says he comes from your father.
Give him as much as will make him a royal man and send him back again to my mother.
What manner of man is he?
An old man.
What doth gravity out of his bed at midnight? Shall I give him his answer?
Prithee do, Jack.
Further, I'll send him packing.
Now, sirs, by a lady you fought fair. So did you, Peter. So did you, Bardolph. You are lions, too. You ran away upon instinct. You will not touch the true prince, no, Faith.
Faith, I ran when I saw others run.
Faith, tell me now in earnest, how came Falstaff's sword so hacked?
Why, he hacked it with his dagger and said he would swear truth out of England, but he would make you believe it was done in fight. And persuaded us to do the like.
Yeah, and to tickle our noses with spear grass to make them bleed, and then to beslubber our garments with it and swear it was the blood of true men. I did that, I did not, this 7 year before. I blushed to hear his monstrous devices.
Oh, villain, thou stolest a cup of sack 18 years ago and wert taken with the manner, and ever since thou hast blushed extempore. Here comes lean Jack. Here comes Barebone. How now, my sweet creature of bombast?
There's villainous news abroad. Here was Sir John Bracy from your father. You was to the court in the morning. That same mad fellow of the north, Percy, and he of Wales that gave Amamon the bastinado and made Lucifer cuckold and swore the devil is true liegeman upon the cross of a Welsh hook. What a plague call you him?
Owen Glendower.
Owen, the same. And his son-in-law Mortimer, and old Northumberland, and that sprightly Scot of Scots, Douglas, that runs a horseback up a hill perpendicular.
He that rides at high speed and with his pistol kills a sparrow flying.
You've hit it.
So did he never the sparrow.
Well, he's there too, and one Mordake, and 1,000 blue caps more. Worcester's stolen away tonight. Thy father's beard is turned white with the news. You may buy land now as cheap as stinking mackerel.
Why then, it is like, if there come a hot June and this civil buffeting hold, we shall buy maidenheads as they buy hobnails by the hundred.
By the master, thou sayest true. It's like we shall have good trading that way. But tell me, Hal, art thou not horrible afeard? Thou being heir apparent, could the world pick thee out 3 such enemies again as that fiend Douglas, that spirit Percy, and that devil Glendower? Art thou not horribly afraid? Doth not thy blood thrill at it?
Not a whit, of faith. I lack some of thy instinct.
Well, thou wilt be horribly chid tomorrow when thou comest to thy father. If thou love me, practice an answer.
Do thou stand for my father and examine me upon the particulars of my life.
Shall I? Content. This chair shall be my state, this dagger my sceptre, and this cushion my crown.
Thy state is taken for a joined stool, thy golden sceptre for a leaden dagger, and thy precious rich crown for a pitiful bald.
Well, and the fire of grace be not quite out of thee, now shalt thou be moved. Give me a cup of sack. To make my eyes look red. That it may be thought I have wept. For I must speak in passion. And I will do it in King Cambyses' vein.
Well, here is my leg.
And here is my speech. Stand aside, nobility.
Oh, Jesus, this is excellent sport, Ivan.
Weep not, sweet queen, for trickling tears are vain.
Oh, the father, how he holds his countenance.
For God's sake, lords, convey my tristful queen, for tears do stop the floodgates of her eyes.
Jesus, nothing is like one of these horrific players as ever I see.
Peace, good pint pot, peace, good tickle brain. Harry, I do not only marvel where thou spendest thy time, but also how thou art accompanied. For though the chamomile, the more it is trodden on, the faster it grows, yet youth, the more it is wasted, the sooner it wears. That thou art, my son, I have partly thy mother's word, partly my own opinion, but chiefly a villainous trick of thine eye and a foolish hanging of thy nether lip that doth warrant me. If then thou be son to me, here lies the point. Why, being son to me, art thou so pointed at. Shall the blessed Son of Heaven prove a mitcher and eat blackberries? A question not to be asked. Shall the Son of England prove a thief and take purses? A question to be asked. There is a thing, Harry, which thou hast often heard of, and it is known to many in our land by the name of pitch. This pitch, as ancient writers do report, doth defile. So doth the company thou keepest. For, Harry, now I do not speak to thee in drink, but in tears. Not in pleasure, but in passion. Not in words only, but in woes also. And yet, there is a virtuous man, whom I have often noted in thy company, but I know not his name.
What manner of man, an it like your majesty?
A goodly portly man, is he? And a corpulent, of a cheerful look, a pleasing eye, and a most noble character. And as I think his age, some 50? By a lady inclining to 60. And now I remember me, his name is Falstaff. Falstaff. If that man should be lewdly given, he deceiveth me. For, Harry, I see virtue in his looks. If then the tree may be known by the fruit, as the fruit by the tree, then peremptorily I speak it, there is virtue in that Falstaff. Him keep with, the rest banish. And now tell me, thou naughty varlet, tell me, where hast thou been this month?
Dost thou speak like a king? Do thou stand for me, and I'll play my father.
Depose me? And thou dost it half so gravely, so majestically, both in word and matter, hang me up by the heels for a rabbit sucker or a poulter's hair.
Well, here I am set.
And here I stand. Judge, my masters.
Now, Harry, whence come you?
My noble lord from East Street.
The complaints I hear of thee are grievous.
Blood, my lord, they are false. Nay, I'll tickle you for a young prince if they...
Swearest thou, ungracious boy? Henceforth ne'er look on me. Thou art violently carried away from grace. Ooh. There is a devil haunts thee in the likeness of an old fat man. A ton of man is thy companion. Why dost thou converse with that trunk of humours, that bolting hutch of beastliness, that swollen parcel of dropsies, that huge bombard of sack, that stuffed cloak bag of guts, that roasted Manningtree ox with the pudding in his belly, that reverend vice, that grey iniquity, that father ruffian, that vanity in years? Wherein is he good but to taste sack and drink it? Wherein neat and cleanly but to carve a capon and eat it? Wherein cunning but in craft? Wherein crafty but in villainy? Wherein villainous but in all things? Wherein worthy but in nothing?
I would your grace would take me with you. Who means your grace?
That villainous, abominable misleader of youth, Falstaff! That old white-bearded Satan.
My lord, the man I know.
I know thou dost.
But to say I know more harm in him than in myself were to say more than I know. That he is old, the more the pity, his white hairs do witness it. But that he is, saving your reverence, a whoremaster, that I utterly deny. Oh. If sack and sugar be a fault, God help the wicked. If to be old and merry be a sin, then many an old host that I know is damned. If to be fat be to be hated, then Pharaoh's lean kine are to be loved. No, my good lord, banish Peter, banish Bardolph, banish Poins, but for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more valiant being as he is, old Jack Falstaff, banish not him thy Harry's company, banish not him thy Harry's company, banish plump Jack and banish all the world.
I do. I will.
Oh, my lord, the sheriff with the most monstrous watch is at the door.
Ouchie, rogue, play out the play. What? I have much to say in the behalf of that Falstaff.
Please, my lord, my lord.
Hey, the devil rides up on a fiddlestick. What's the matter?
The sheriff and all the watch are at the door. They come to search the house. Shall I let them in?
Dost thou hear, Hal? Never call a true piece of gold a counterfeit. Thou art essentially mad without seeming so.
And thou a natural coward without instinct.
Go hide thee behind the arras. The rest walk up above. Now, my masters, for a true face and good conscience.
Both of which I have had, but their date is out, and therefore I'll hide.
Call in the sheriff.
Master Sheriff.
Now, Master Sheriff, what is your will with me?
First, pardon me, my lord. A hue and cry hath followed certain men unto this house.
What men?
One of them is well known, my gracious lord. A gross, fat man.
As fat as butter.
The man, I do assure you, is not here. For I myself at this time have employed him. And, Sheriff, I will engage my word to thee that I will by tomorrow dinner time send him to answer thee or any man for anything he shall be charged withal. And so let me entreat you leave the house.
I will, my lord. There are 2 gentlemen have in this robbery lost 300 marks.
It may be so. If he have robbed these men, he shall be answerable. And so farewell.
Good night, my noble lord.
I think it is good morrow, is it not?
Indeed, my lord. I think it be 2 o'clock.
This oily rascal is known as well as Paul's. Go, call him forth.
Falstaff! Fast asleep behind the arras and snorting like a horse.
Hark how hard he fetches breath. Search his pockets. What hast thou found?
Nothing but papers, my lord.
Let's see what they be. Read them.
Item a capon, 2 and 2pence. Item sauce, 4pence. Item sack, 2 gallons, 5 and 8pence. Item anchovies and sack after supper, 2 and 6pence. Item bread, 1 halfpenny.
Oh, monstrous. But 1 halfpenny worth of bread to this intolerable deal of sack. What there is else, keep close. We'll read it at more advantage. There, let him sleep till day. I'll to the court in the morning. We must all to the wars, and thy place shall be honourable. I'll procure this fat rogue a charge of foot, and I know his death will be a march of 12 score. The money shall be paid back again with advantage. Be with me betimes in the morning, and so good morrow, Peter.
Good morrow, good my lord.
Henry IV, Part 1 by William Shakespeare starred Julian Glover as King Henry IV, Jamie Glover as Henry, Prince of Wales, Jonathan Keble as Sir Henry Percy, Prunella Scales as Mistress Quickly, and Timothy West as Sir John Falstaff. Other parts were played by John Rowe, Christian Rodska, Geoffrey Whitehead, Lucy Briers, Sean Baker, Crawford Logan, Roger May, Chris Pavlo, Ben Crow, David Lyon, and Tom Ward. Music was specially composed by Matthew Scott, and technical presentation was by Graham Harper. The production assistant was Lizzie Hart. Henry IV, Part 1 was adapted and directed by Gordon House.
And you can hear the conclusion of Henry IV, Part 1 at the same time next week, when Harry, Prince of Wales, faces an intimidating interview with his father, the King, who is not at all pleased with his son's behaviour or the company he's keeping. Bye.
It's coming up to 06:30 GMT. You're listening to the BBC World Service.
BBC World Service. This week's play of the week is the second and final episode of Shakespeare's great English historical drama, Henry IV, Part 1.
England, 1402. King Henry IV's troubled reign is once more beset by political turmoil. His former allies, the Earl of Northumberland and his son, Henry Percy, outraged by what they see as the king's arrogant contempt for them, are planning armed insurrection. The king's also at loggerheads with his own son, Harry, Prince of Wales, whose taste for the wilder fringes of life exemplified in the person of the licentious fat knight, Sir John Falstaff, has deeply disappointed his father. Is it any wonder that King Henry, still troubled by his own part in the deposing and murder of his predecessor, Richard II, has difficulty sleeping?
All the water in the rough, rude sea can wash the balm from an anointed king. The breath of worldly men cannot depose the deputy. What must the king do now? Must he submit? The king shall do it. You may my glories and my state depose, but not my griefs. Still am I taste, prove indigestion. Oh, good. Conveyors are you all, that rise thus nimbly by a... Will his majesty give Richard leave to live? The woes to come. The children yet unborn shall feel this day as sharp to them. That in a Christian climate souls refined should show so cousins black. Seize the crown, cousin, crown. Seize the crown, seize the crown.
Henry IV, Part 1, by William Shakespeare, starring Julian Glover as King Henry IV, Jamie Glover as Henry, Prince of Wales, and Timothy West as Sir John Falstaff. Henry IV, Part 1.
Lords, give us leave. The Prince of Wales and I must have some private conference. But be near at hand, for we shall presently have need of you. My liege. My lord. I know not whether God will have it so for some displeasing service I have done, that in his secret doom out of my blood he'll breed revengement and a scourge for me. But thou dost in thy passages of life make me believe that thou art only marked for the hot vengeance and the rod of heaven to punish my mistreadings. Tell me else. Could such inordinate and low desires, such poor, such bare, such lewd, such mean attempts, such barren pleasures, rude society, as thou art matched withal and grafted to, accompany the greatness of thy blood, and hold their level with thy princely heart?
So, please, your majesty, I would I could quit all offences with as clear excuse as well as I am doubtless I can purge myself of many I am charged withal. Yet such extenuation let me beg, as in reproof of many tales devised, which oft the ear of greatness needs must hear, by smiling pickthanks and base newsmongers, I may for some things true, wherein my youth hath faulty wandered and irregular, find pardon on my true submission.
God pardon thee. Yet let me wonder, Harry, at thy affections, which do hold a wing quite from the flight of all thy ancestors. Thy place in council thou hast rudely lost, which by thy younger brother is supplied, and art almost an alien to the hearts of all the court and princes of my blood. The hope and expectation of thy time is ruined, and the soul of every man prophetically doth forethink thy fall. Had I so lavish of my presence been, so common hackneyed in the eyes of men, so stale and cheap to vulgar company, opinion that did help me to the crown had still kept loyal to possession and left me in reputeless banishment, a fellow of no mark nor likelihood. But being seldom seen, I could not stir, but like a comet I was wondered at, that men would tell their children, "This is he." Others would say, "Where? Which is Bolingbroke?" And then I stole all courtesy from heaven, and dressed myself in such humility that I did pluck allegiance from men's hearts, loud shouts and salutations from their mouths, even in the presence of the crowned king. Thus did I keep my person fresh and new, my presence like a robe pontifical, ne'er seen but wondered at. And so my state, seldom but sumptuous, showed like a feast, and won by rareness such solemnity. The skipping king, he ambled up and down with shallow jesters and rash baving wits, soon kindled and soon burnt. So, when he had occasion to be seen, he was but as the cuckoo is in June, heard, not regarded, seen, but with such eyes as sick and blunted with community afford no extraordinary gaze, such as is bent on sun-like majesty when it shines seldom in admiring eyes, but rather drowsed and hung their eyelids down, slept in his face, and rendered such aspect as cloudy men use to their adversaries, being with his presence glutted, gorged, and full. And in that very line, Harry, standest thou, for thou hast lost thy princely privilege with vile participation. Not an eye but is aweary of thy common sight, save mine, which hath desired to see thee more, which now doth that I would not have it do, make blind itself with foolish tenderness.
I shall hereafter, my thrice gracious lord, be more myself.
For all the world as thou art to this hour was richer then, when I from France set foot at Ravensburg, and even as I was then is Percy now. Now, by my sceptre and my soul to boot, he hath more worthy interest to the state than thou, the shadow of succession, for of no right nor colour like to right. He doth fill fields with harness in the realm, turns head against the lion's armed jaws, and being no more in debt to years than thou, leads ancient lords and reverend bishops on to bloody battles and to bruising arms. And what say you to this? Percy, Northumberland, the Archbishop's Grace of York, Douglas, Mortimer, capitulate against us and are up. But wherefore do I tell these news to thee? Why, Harry, do I tell thee of my foes, which art my nearest and dearest enemy, thou that art like enough through vassal fear, base inclination, and the start of spleen, to fight against me under Percy's pay, to dog his heels and curtsy at his frowns, to show how much thou art degenerate.
Do not think so. You shall not find it so. And God forgive them that so much have swayed your majesty's good thoughts away from me. I will redeem all this on Percy's head, and in the closing of some glorious day be bold to tell you that I am your son. Percy is but my factor, good my lord, to engross up glorious deeds on my behalf. And I will call him to so strict account that he shall render every glory up, yea, even the slightest worship if his time, or I will tear the reckoning from his heart. This in the name of God I promise here, the which, if he be pleased, I shall perform. I do beseech your majesty may salve the long-grown wounds of my intemperance. If not, the end of life cancels all bans, and I will die 100,000 deaths ere break the smallest parcel of this vow.
100,000 rebels die in this. Thou shalt have charge and sovereign trust herein. How now, good Blunt, thy looks are full of speed.
So hath the business that I come to speak of. Lord Mortimer of Scotland hath sent word that Douglas and the English rebels met the 11th of this month at Shrewsbury. A mighty and a fearful head they are, if promises be kept on every hand, as ever offered foul play in the state.
The Earl of Westmoreland set forth today, with him my son, Lord John of Lancaster, for this advertisement is 5 days old. On Wednesday next, Harry, you shall set forward. On Thursday, we ourselves will march. Our meeting is Bridgenorth, and Harry, you shall march through Gloucestershire, by which account our business valued some 12 days hence our general forces at Bridgenorth shall meet. Our hands are full of business. Let's away. Advantage feeds him fat while men delay.
Rodolph, am I not fallen away vilely since this last action? Do I not bate? Do I not dwindle? Why, my skin hangs about me like an old lady's loose gown. I'm withered like an old apple, John. Well, I'll repent, and that suddenly, while I'm in some liking. I shall be out of heart shortly, and then I shall have no strength to repent. And I've not forgotten what the inside of a church is made of. I'm a peppercorn, a brewer's horse. the inside of a church. Company, villainous company, had been the spoil of me.
Sir John, you're so fretful you cannot live long.
Why, there is it. Come, sing me a bawdy song, make me merry. I was as virtuously given as a gentleman need to be. Virtuous enough. Swore little, diced not above 7 times a week. Went to a bawdy house once in a quarter of an hour. Paid money that I borrowed 3 or 4 times. Lived well and in good compass. And now I live out of all order, out of all compass.
Why, you're so fat, Sir John, that you must needs be out of all compass, out of all reasonable compass, Sir John.
Do thou amend thy face, and I'll amend my life.
Blood, I would my face were in your belly.
God have mercy. So I should be sure to be heartburned. How now, Dame Partlet the hen, have you inquired yet who picked my pocket?
Why, Sir John, what do you think, Sir John? Do you think I keep thieves in my house? I've searched, I've inquired, so has my husband, man by man, boy by boy, servant by servant. The tithe of a hair was never lost in my house before.
You lie, hostess. Bardolph was shaved and lost many a hair. And I'll be sworn my pocket was picked. I've lost a seal ring of my grandfather's worth 40 marks.
Oh, jeez, I've heard the prince tell him I know now how oft that ring was copper.
How? The prince is a jack, a sneak-up. Sblood, anywhere here, I'd cudgel him like a dog if he would say so. How now, lad? Is the wind in that door, Faith? Must we all march?
Yea, 2 and 2, Newgate fashion.
My lord, I pray you hear me.
What sayest thou, mistress, quickly? How doth thy husband? I love him well, he is an honest man.
Good my lord, hear me.
Prithee, let her alone and listen to me.
What sayest thou, Jack?
The other night, I fell asleep here behind the arras and had my pocket picked. This house is turned bawdy house. They pick pockets.
But what dost thou lose, Jack?
Will thou believe me, Hal? 3 or 4 bonds of £40 apiece, and a seal ring of my grandfather's.
A trifle, some 8-penny matter.
Yeah, so I told him, my lord, and I said, I heard your grace say so. And my lord, he speaks most vilely of you, like a foul-mouthed man as he is, and said he would cudgel you.
Did I, Bardolph?
Indeed, Sir John, you said so.
Yea, if he said my ring was copper.
I say 'tis copper. Darest thou be as good as thy word now?
Why, Hal, thou knowest, as thou art but man, I dare. But as thou art prince, I fear thee as I fear the roaring of a lion's whelp.
And why not as the lion?
The king is to be feared as the lion. Dost thou think I fear thee as I fear thy father? Nay, and I do, I pray God my girdle break.
Oh, if it should, how would thy guts fall about thy knees? But, sirrah, there's no room for faith, truth, nor honesty in this bosom of thine. It is all filled up with guts and midriff. Charge an honest woman with picking thy pocket? Why, thou whoreson, impudent, embossed rascal, if there were anything in thy pocket but tavern reckonings, memorandums of bawdy houses, and 1 poor pennyworth of sugar candy to make thee long-winded, if thy pocket were enriched with any other injuries but these, I am a villain. And yet you will stand to it. You will not pocket up wrong. Art thou not ashamed?
Dost thou hear, Hal? Thou knowest in the state of innocency Adam fell. And what should poor Jack Falstaff do in these days of villainy? Thou seest, I have more flesh than another man, and therefore more frailty. You confess, then, you picked my pocket.
It appears, sir, by the story.
Hostess, I forgive thee. Go, make ready breakfast, love thy husband, look to thy servants, cherish thy guests. Thou shalt find me tractable to any honest reason. Thou seest, I am pacified still. Nay, prithee, begone. Now, Hal, to the news at court. For the robbery, lad, how is that answered?
Oh, my sweet beef. I must still be good angel to thee. The money is paid back again.
Oh, I do not like that paying back. 'Tis a double labour.
I am good friends with my father and may do anything.
Rob the exchequer the first thing thou doest, and do it with unwashed hands, too.
Do, my lord.
I have procured thee, Jack, a charge of foot.
Would it have been of whores? Where shall I find one that can steal well? Oh, for a fine thief of the age of 22 or thereabout. I am heinously unprovided. Well, God be thanked for these rebels. They offend none but the virtuous. I laud them, I praise them.
Bardolph,
my lord.
Go bear this letter to Lord John of Lancaster, to my brother John. This to my Lord of Westmoreland.
My lord.
Go, Peter, to horse, for thou and I have 30 miles to ride yet at dinner time.
My lord?
Jack, meet me tomorrow in the Temple Hall at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There shalt thou know thy charge, and there receive money and order for their furniture. The land is burning. Percy stands on high, and either we or they must lower lie.
Rare words. Brave world. Hostess, my breakfast, come! Oh, I could wish this tavern were my drum.
Well said, my noble Scot. If speaking truth in this fine age were not thought flattery, such attribution should the Douglas have as not a soldier of this season's stamp should go so general current through the world. My God, I cannot flatter. I do defy the tongues of soothers. But a braver place in my heart's love hath no man than yourself. Nay, task me to my word, approve, my lord.
Thou art the king of honour. No man so potent breathes upon the ground, but I will beard him.
Do so, and 'tis well. What letters hast thou there? I can but thank you.
These letters come from your father.
Letters from him? Why comes he not himself?
He cannot come, my lord. He is grievous sick.
Soot, how has he the leisure to be sick in such a rustling time? All who leads his power, under whose government come they along?
His letters bear his mind, not I, my lord.
I prithee tell me, doth he keep his bed?
He did, my lord. 4 days ere I set forth. And at the time of my departure thence, he was much feared by his physicians.
I would the state of time had first been whole ere he by sickness had been visited. His health was never better worth than now.
Sick now? Droop now? His sickness doth infect the very lifeblood of our enterprise. He's catching hither even to our camp. He writes me here that inward sickness stays him, and that his friends by deputation could not so soon be drawn. Nor did he think it meet to lay so dangerous and dear a trust on any soul removed but on his own. Yet doth he give us bold advertisement that with our small conjunction we should on to see how fortune is disposed to us. For, as he writes, there is no quailing now, because the king is certainly possessed of all our purposes. What say you to it?
Your father's sickness is a maim to us.
A perilous gash. A limb lopped off. And yet, in faith, it is not. What his present want seems more than we shall find it. Were it good to set the exact wealth of all our states all at one cast? To set so rich a main on the nice hazard of one doubtful hour? It were not good, for therein should we read the very bottom and the soul of hope, the very list, the very utmost bound of all our fortunes.
Faith, and so we should. Where now remains a sweet reversion we may boldly spend upon the hope of what is to come in. A comfort of retirement lives in this.
Aye, a rendezvous, a home to fly unto if that the devil and mischance look big upon the maidenhead of our affairs.
But yet I would your father had been here. The quality and hair of our attempt brooks no division. It would be thought by some that know not why he is away that wisdom, loyalty, and mere dislike of our proceedings kept the Earl from hence. And think how such an apprehension may turn the tide of fearful faction and breed a kind of question in our cause.
You strain too far. I rather of his absence make this use. It lends a lustre, a more great opinion, a larger dare to our great enterprise than if the Earl were here. For men must think, if we without his help can make a head to push against a kingdom, with his help we shall overturn it topsy-turvy down. Yet all goes well. Yet all our joints are whole.
As heart can think, there is not such a word spoke of in Scotland as this term of fear.
Aye, aye. Oh, my cousin Vernon, welcome by my soul.
Pray God my news be worth a welcome, lord. The Earl of Westmoreland, 7,000 strong, is marching hitherwards. With him Prince John.
No harm. What more?
And further, I have learned, the king himself in person is set forth, or hitherwards intended speedily, with strong and mighty preparation.
He shall be welcome too. Where is his son? The nimble-footed madcap Prince of Wales and his comrades that daft the world aside and bid it pass.
All furnished, all in arms, wanton as youthful goats, wild as young bulls.
I saw young Harry with his beaver on, his cuisses on his thighs, gallantly armed, rise from the ground like feathered Mercury, and vaulted with such ease into his seat as if an angel dropped down from the clouds to turn and wind a fiery Pegasus and witch the world with noble horsemanship.
No more! No more. Worse than the sun in March is praised doth nourish agues. Let them come. They come like sacrifices in their trim. And to the fire-eyed maid of smoky war, all hot and bleeding, will we offer them. Now come, let me taste my horse, who is to bear me like a thunderbolt against the bosom of the Prince of Wales. Harry to Harry shall, hot horse to horse, meet and ne'er part till one drop down a course. Oh, the Glendower were come.
There is more news. I learned in Worcester as I rode along he cannot draw his power this 14 days.
That's the worst tidings that I hear of yet.
Aye. Well, my faith, that bears a frosty sound.
What may the king's whole battle reach unto?
To 30,000.
40 let it be. My father and Glendower being both away, the powers of us may serve so great a day. Come, let us take a muster speedily. Doomsday is near. Die all, die merrily.
Talk not of dying. I am out of fear of death or death's hand for this 1/2 year.
Adolf, get thee before to Coventry. Fill me a bottle of sack. Our soldiers shall march through. We'll to Sutton Coldfield tonight.
Will you give me money, Captain?
Lay out, lay out. Bid my Lieutenant Peter meet me at the town's end.
I will, Captain. Farewell.
Farewell. If I be not ashamed of my soldiers, I must soust Gurnett. I've misused the king's press damnably. I've got, in exchange of 150 soldiers, 300 and odd pounds. I press me none but good householders, yeomen's sons, inquire me out contracted bachelors, such as been asked twice on the bands, such a commodity of warm slaves as had as lief hear the devil as a drum, and they've bought out their services. And now my whole charge consists of slaves as ragged as Lazarus in the painted cloth where the glutton's dogs licked his sores, and such as indeed were never soldiers, but discarded unjust serving men, younger sons to younger brothers, revolted tapsters and ostlers trade fallen, the cankers of a calm world and a long peace. A mad fellow met me on the way and told me I'd unloaded all the gibbets and pressed the dead bodies. No eye hath seen such scarecrows. Now, not much through Coventry with them, that's flat. Nay, and the villains march wide betwixt the legs, as if they had gyves on, for indeed I had the most of them out of prison. There's but a shirt and a half in all my company, and the half shirt is 2 napkins tacked together and thrown over the shoulders, and the shirt, to say the truth, stolen from my host at St. Albans, or the red-nosed innkeeper of Daventry. But that's all one, they'll find linen enough on every hedge.
How now, blown Jack? How now, Quilt?
What? How? Why, how now, mad wag? What a devil dost thou in Warwickshire? My good Lord of Westmoreland, I cry you mercy. I thought your honour had already been at Shrewsbury.
Faith, Sir John, 'tis more than time that I were there, and you too. But my powers are there already. The king, I can tell you, looks for us all. We must away all night.
Tut, never fear me. I'm as vigilant as a cat to steal cream.
I think to steal cream indeed, for thy theft hath already made thee butter. But tell me, Jack, whose fellows are these that come after?
Mine, Hal, mine.
I did never see such pitiful rascals.
Tut, good enough to toss. Food for powder, food for powder. They'll fill a pit as well as better. Tush, man, mortal men, mortal men.
Aye, but Sir John, methinks they are exceeding poor and bare, too beggarly.
Of their poverty, I know not where they had that. Of their bareness, I'm sure they never learned that of me.
No, I'll be sworn. Unless you call 3 fingers on the ribs bare. But, Sarah, make haste. Percy is already in the field.
What, is the king encamped?
He is, Sir John. I fear we shall stay too long.
Well, to the latter end of a fray and the beginning of a feast fits a dull fighter.
and a keen guest.
We'll fight with him tonight.
It may not be.
You give him then the advantage.
Not a whit.
Why say you so? Looks he not for supply?
So do we.
His is certain. Ours is doubtful.
Good cousin, be advised. Stir not tonight.
Do not, my lord.
You do not counsel well. You speak it out of fear and cold heart.
Do me no slander, Douglas. By my life, and I dare well maintain it with my life, if well-respected honour bid me on, I hold as little counsel with weak fear as you, my lord, or any Scot that this day lives. Don't let it be seen tomorrow in the battle, which of us fears.
Yea, or tonight.
Content.
Tonight, say I.
Come, it may not be. I wonder much, being men of such great leading as you are, that you foresee not what impediments drag back our expedition. Certain horse of my cousin Vernon's are not yet come up. Your Uncle Worcester's horse came but today, and now their pride and mettle is asleep, their courage with hard labour tame and dull, that not a horse is half the half of himself.
So are the horses of the enemy in general journey baited and brought low. The better part of ours are full of rest.
The number of the king exceedeth ours. For God's sake, cousin, stay till all come in.
I come with gracious offers from the king, if you vouchsafe me hearing and respect.
Welcome, Sir Walter Blunt. And would to God you were of our determination. Some of us love you well, and even though some envy your great deservings and good name, because you are not of our quality, but stand against us like an enemy.
And God defend, but still I should stand so long as out of limit and true rule you stand against anointed majesty. But to my charge. The king hath sent to know the nature of your griefs, and whereupon you conjure from the breast of civil peace such bold hostility, teaching his duteous land audacious cruelty. If that the king have any way your good deserts forgot, which he confesseth to be manifold, he bids you name your griefs, and with all speed you shall have your desires with interest, and pardon absolute for yourself and these herein misled by your suggestion.
The king is kind. And well we know the king knows at what time to promise, when to pay. My father and my uncle and myself did give him that same royalty he wears. And when he was not 26 strong, sick in the world's regard, wretched and low, a poor, unminded outlaw, sneaking home, my father gave him welcome to the shore. And when he heard him swear and vow to God, he came but to be Duke of Lancaster, to sue his livery and beg his peace, with tears of innocency and terms of zeal. My father, in kind heart and pity moved, swore him assistance and performed it too.
Tut, I came not to hear this.
Then to the point. In short time after, he deposed the king. Soon after that, deprived him of his life. And in the neck of that tasked the whole state. To make that worse, suffered his kinsman March, who is, if every owner were well placed, indeed his king, to be engaged in Wales. There, without ransom, to lie forfeited. Disgraced me in my happy victories, sought to entrap me by intelligence, rated mine uncle from the council board, enraged, dismissed my father from the court, broke oath on oath, committed wrong on wrong. And in conclusion, drove us to seek out this head of safety, and withal to pry into his title, the which we find too indirect for long continuance.
Shall I return this answer to the king?
Not so, Sir Walter. We'll withdraw a while. Go to the king and let there be imported some surety for a safe return again. And in the morning early shall my uncle bring him our purposes. And so farewell.
I would you would accept of grace and love.
And maybe so we shall.
Pray God you do.
Bloodily the sun begins to peer above yon busky hill. The day looks pale at his distemperature.
The southern wind doth play the trumpet to his purposes, and by his hollow whistling in the leaves foretells a tempest and a blustering day.
Then with the losers let it sympathize, for nothing can seem foul to those that win. How now, my Lord of Worcester? 'Tis not well that you and I should meet upon such terms as now we meet. You have deceived our trust, and made us doff our easy robes of peace to crush our old limbs in ungentle steel. This is not well, my lord, this is not well. What say you to it? Will you again unknit this churlish knot of all-abhorred war, and move in that obedient orb again, where you did give a fair and natural light, and be no more an exhaled meteor, a prodigy of fear, and a portent of broached mischief to the unborn time?
Hear me, my liege. For mine own part, I could be well content to entertain the lag end of my life with
You're listening to the BBC World Service. This is WNYE New York.
of this dislike.
You have not sought it. How comes it, then? Rebellion lay in his way, and he found it.
Peace, Stuart, peace.
It pleased your majesty to turn your looks of favor from myself and all our house. And yet I must remember you, my lord. We were the first and dearest of your friends. For you, my staff of office did I break in Richard's time, and posted day and night to meet you on the way and kiss your hand, when yet you were in place and in account nothing so strong and fortunate as I. It was myself, my brother and his son, that brought you home and boldly did outdare the dangers of the time. You swore to us, and you did swear that oath at Doncaster, that you did nothing purpose against the state, nor claim no further than your new fallen right, the seat of Gaunt, Dukedom of Lancaster. To this we swore our aid. But in short space it rained down fortune showering on your head, and such a flood of greatness fell on you, what with our help, what with the absent king, what with the injuries of a wanton time, the seeming sufferances that you had borne, and the contrarious winds that held the king so long in his unlucky Irish wars, that all in England did repute him dead. And from this swarm of fair advantages, you took occasion to be quickly wooed to gripe the general sway into your hand. Forgot your oath to us at Doncaster, and being fed by us, you used us so, as that ungentle gull, the cuckoo's bird, useth the sparrow. Did oppress our nest, grew by our feeding to so great a bulk, that even our love durst not come near your sight for fear of swallowing. But with nimble wing, we were enforced, for safety's sake, to fly out of sight and raise this present head. Whereby we stand opposed by such means as you yourself have forged against yourself by unkind usage, dangerous countenance, and violation of all faith and troth sworn to us in your younger enterprise.
These things indeed you have articulate, proclaimed at market crosses, read in churches, to face the garment of rebellion with some fine colour that may please the eye of fickle changelings and poor discontents, which gape and rub the elbow at the news of hurly-burly innovation. And never yet did insurrection want such watercolours to impaint his cause, nor moody beggars starving for a time of pell-mell havoc and confusion.
In both your armies there is many a soul shall pay full dearly for this encounter, if once they join in trial. Tell your nephew, the Prince of Wales doth join with all the world in praise of Henry Percy. By my hopes, this present enterprise set off his head. I do not think a braver gentleman, more active valiant, or more valiant young, more daring or more bold is now alive to grace this latter age with noble deeds. For my part, I may speak it to my shame, I have a truant been to chivalry. And so I hear he doth account me too. Yet this before my father's majesty, I am content that he shall take the odds of his great name and estimation, and will, to save the blood on either side, try fortune with him in a single fight.
And, Prince of Wales, so dare we venture thee, albeit considerations infinite do make against it. No, good Worcester, no. We love our people well, even those we love that are misled upon your cousin's part. And will they take the offer of our grace, both he and they and you, yea, every man shall be my friend again, and I'll be his. So tell your cousin, and bring me word what he will do. But if he will not yield, rebuke and dread correction wait on us, and they shall do their office. So, be gone. We will not now be troubled with reply. We offer fair, take it advisedly.
My lord.
It will not be accepted on my life. The Douglas and the Hotspur both together are confident against the world in arms.
Hence, therefore, every leader to his charge. For on their answer will we set on them, and God befriend us as our cause is just.
Hal, if thou see me down in the battle and bestride me so, disappointed friendship.
Nothing but a colossus can do thee that, friendship. Say thy prayers and farewell.
I would to a bedtime, Hal, and all well.
Why, thou owest God a death.
'Tis not due yet. I'd be loath to pay him before his day. What need I be so forward with him that calls not on me? Well, 'tis no matter. Honor pricks me on. Yea, but how if honor prick me off when I come on? How then? Can honor set to a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take away the grief of a wound? No. Honor hath no skill in surgery, then? No. What is honor? A word. What is in that word, honor? What is that honor? Air, a trim reckoning. Who hath it? He that died a Wednesday. Doth he feel it? No. Doth he hear it? No. 'Tis insensible, then, yea, to the dead. But will it not live with the living? No. Why? Detraction will not suffer it. Therefore, I'll none of it. Honor is a mere scutcheon. And so ends my catechism. Oh, no. My nephew must not know, Sir Richard, the liberal and kind offer of the king.
'Twere best he did.
Then are we all undone? It is not possible. It cannot be. The king should keep his word in loving us. He will suspect us still and find a time to punish this offence in other faults. For treason is but trusted like the fox, who ne'er so tame, so cherished and locked up, will have a wild trick of his ancestors. My nephew's trespass may be well forgot. It hath the excuse of youth and heat of blood, and an adopted name of privilege, a hair-brained Hotspur governed by a spleen. All his offences live upon my head and on his father's. We did train him on, and his corruption being ta'en from us, we, as the spring of all, shall pay for all. Therefore, good cousin, let not Harry know, in any case, the offer of the king.
Deliver what you will, I'll say 'tis so. Here comes your cousin.
My uncle has returned. Deliver up, my lord of Westmoreland. Uncle, what news?
The king will bid you battle presently.
Defy him by the Lord of Westmoreland.
Lord Douglas, go you and tell him so.
Marry and shall, and very willingly.
There is no seeming mercy in the king.
Did you beg any, God forbid?
I told him gently of our grievances, of his oath-breaking, which he mended thus, by now forswearing that he is forsworn. He calls us rebels, traitors, and will scourge with haughty arms this hateful name in us.
Arms, gentlemen, to arms! For I have thrown a brave defiance in King Henry's teeth, and Westmoreland that was engaged did bear it, which cannot choose but bring him quickly on.
The Prince of Wales stepped forth before the king, and nephew challenged you to single fight.
Oh, would the quarrel lay upon our heads that no man might draw short breath today but I and Harry Monmouth. Tell me, how sure his tasking seemed in contempt?
No, by my soul. I never in my life did hear a challenge urged more modestly. If he outlived the envy of this day, England did never owe so sweet a hope, so much misconstrued in his wantonness.
Cousin, I think thou art enamoured on his follies. Never did I hear of any prince so wild a libertine. But be he as he will, yet one fair night I will embrace him with a soldier's arm that he shall shrink under my courtesy. My lord, here are letters for you. I cannot read them now. Oh, gentlemen, the time of life is short. To spend that shortness basely were too long if life did ride upon a dial's point, still ending at the arrival of an hour. And if we live to tread on kings. If die, brave death when princes die with us.
My lord, prepare, the king comes on apace.
I thank him that he cuts me from my tale, for I profess not talking, only this. Let each man do his best, and here draw I a sword whose temper I intend to stain with the best blood that I can meet withal in the adventure of this perilous day. Now, Esperance, Percy, and set on. Sound all the lofty instruments of war. And by that mule music let us all embrace. For heaven to earth, some of us never shall a second time do such a courtesy.
What is thy name, that in the battle thus thou crossest me? What honour dost thou seek upon my head?
Ah, know then, my name is Douglas, and I do haunt thee in the battle thus because some tell me that thou art a king.
They tell thee true.
The Lord of Stafford, dear, today hath bought thy likeness, for instead of thee, King Harry, this sword hath ended him. So shall it thee, unless thou yield thee as my prisoner.
I was not born a yielder, thou proud Scot. And thou shalt find a king that will revenge Lord Stafford's death.
Oh, Douglas, hast thou fought at Holmdon thus I never had triumphed upon a Scot?
All's done, all's won. Here, breathless, lies the king.
Where?
Here.
This? Douglas, no. I know this face full well. A gallant knight he was. His name was Blunt. Semblably furnished like the king himself.
Fool, go with thy soul, whither it goes. A borrowed title hast thou bought too dear. Why didst thou tell me that thou wert a king?
How the king hath made him marching in his coats.
Now, by my sword, I will kill all his coats. I'll munder all his wardrobe piece by piece until I meet the king.
Up and away! Our soldiers stand full fairly for the day.
Though I could escape shot-free in London, I fear the shot here. Here's no scoring but upon the pate. Soft. Who are you? Sir Walter Blunt. There's honor for you. Here's no vanity. I'm as hot as molten lead. And as heavy, too. God keep lead out of me. I need no more weight than mine own bowels. I've led my ragamuffins where they're peppered. There's not 3 of my 150 left alive. And they're for the town's end to beg during life. But who comes here?
What, stands thou idle here? Lend me thy sword. Many a nobleman lies stark and stiff under the hoofs of vaunting enemies, whose deaths are yet unrevenged. I prithee, lend me thy sword.
Oh, Hal, I prithee, give me leave to breathe a while. Sir Gregory never did such deeds in arms as I have done this day. I've paid Percy, I've made him sure.
He is indeed, and living to kill thee. I prithee, lend me thy sword.
Nay, before God, Hal, if Percy be alive, thou getst not my sword. But take my pistol, if thou wilt.
Give it to me. What, is it in the case?
Oh, I how 'tis hot, 'tis hot. There's that will sack a city. Ha ha.
What? Is it time to jest and dally now?
Oh, well, if Percy be alive, I'll pierce him. If he do come in my way, so. If he do not, if I come in his willingly, let him make a carbonado of me. I like not such grinning honor as Sir Walter hath. Give me life, which if I can save, so. If not, honor comes unlooked for, and there's an end.
I prithee, Harry, withdraw thyself. Thou bleeds too much. Lord John of Lancaster, go you with him.
Not I, my lord, unless I did bleed too.
I beseech your majesty make up, lest your retirement do amaze your friends.
I will do so, my lord of Westmoreland. Lead him to his tent.
Come, my lord. I'll lead you to your tent.
Lead me, my lord. I do not need your help. And God forbid a shallow scratch should drive the Prince of Wales from such a field as this, where stained nobility lies trodden on, and rebels' arms triumph in massacres.
We breathe too long. Come, cousin Westmoreland, our duty this way lies. For God's sake, come!
By God, thou hast deceived me, Lancaster. I did not think thee lord of such a spirit. Before I loved thee as a brother, John. But now I do respect thee as my soul.
I saw him hold Lord Percy at the point with lustier maintenance than I did look for such an ungrown warrior.
Oh, this boy lends mettle to us all.
Another king, they grow like hydras' heads. I am the Douglas, fatal to all those that wear those colours on them. What art thou that counterfeits the person of a king?
The king himself, who, Douglas, grieves at heart so many of his shadows thou hast met, and not the very king. I have 2 boys seek Percy and thyself about the field, but seeing thou fall'st on me so luckily, I will assay thee, so defend thyself.
I fear thou art another counterfeit, and yet in faith thou bear'st thee like a king. But mine, I am sure thou art, whoe'er thou be, and thus I win thee.
Hold up thy head, vile Scot, or thou art like never to hold it up again. The spirits of valiant Shirley, Stafford, Blunt are in my arms. It is the Prince of Wales that threatens thee, who never promiseth, but he means to pay. Cheerly, my lord. How fares your grace? It is Sir Nicholas Gorsey hath for Succorsent, and so hath Clifton, and out to Clifton straight.
Stay, and breathe a while. Thou hast redeemed thy lost opinion, and showed thou makes some tender of my life in this fair rescue thou hast brought to me.
Oh, God, they did me too much injury that ever said I hearkened for your death. If it was so, I might have let alone the insulting hand of Douglas over you, which would have been as speedy in your end as all the poisonous potions in the world, and saved the treacherous labor of your son.
Make up to Clifton. I'll to Sir Nicholas Gorsey.
If I mistake not, thou art Harry Monmouth.
Thou speakst as if I would deny my name.
My name is Henry Percy.
Why, then I see a very valiant rebel of the name. I am the Prince of Wales, and think not, Percy, to share with me in glory any more. 2 stars keep not their motion in one sphere, nor can one England brook a double reign of Harry Percy and the Prince of Wales.
Nor shall it, Harry, for the hour is come to end the one of us. And would to God thy name in arms were now as great as mine.
I'll make it greater ere I part from thee. And all the budding honors on thy crest I'll crop to make a garland for my head.
I can no longer brook thy vanities. Oh, Harry, thou hast robbed me of my youth. I better brook the loss of brittle life than those proud titles thou hast won of me. They wound my thoughts worse than thy sword my flesh. But thoughts the slaves of life, and life time's fool, and time that takes survey of all the world must have a stop. Oh, I could prophesy, but that the earthy and cold hand of death lies on my tongue. No, Percy, thou art dust, and food
For worms, brave Percy. Fare thee well, great heart. Ill-weaved ambition, how much art thou shrunk? When that this body did contain a spirit, a kingdom for it was too small a bound. But now 2 paces of the vilest earth is room enough. This earth that bears thee dead bears not alive so stout a gentleman. If thou wert sensible of courtesy, I should not make so dear a show of zeal. But let my favors hide thy mangled face. And even in thy behalf, I'll thank myself for doing these fair rites of tenderness. Adieu, and take thy praise with thee to heaven. Thy ignominy sleep with thee in the grave, but not remembered in thy epitaph. Who's this? Falstaff. Could not all this flesh keep in a little life? Poor Jack, farewell. I could have better spared a better man. Oh, I should have a heavy miss of thee if I were much in love with vanity. Death hath not struck so fat a deer today, though many dearer in this bloody fray. Embowelled will I see thee by and by. Till then in blood by noble Percy lie.
Embowelled? If thou embowel me today, I'll give you leave to powder me and eat me too tomorrow. Sblood! 'Twas time to counterfeit. Or that hot termagant Scot had paid me, Scot and lot too. Counterfeit? I lie. I'm no counterfeit. To die is to be a counterfeit, for he is but the counterfeit of a man who hath not the life of a man. But to counterfeit dying, when a man thereby liveth, is to be no counterfeit, but the true and perfect image of life itself. The better part of valor is discretion, in the which better part I have saved my life. Zoons. I'm afraid of this gunpowder Percy, though he be dead. How if he should counterfeit too and rise? By my faith, I'm afraid he would prove the better counterfeit. Therefore, I'll make him sure. Yea, and I'll swear I killed him. Nothing confutes me but eyes, and nobody sees me. Therefore, Sarah, with a new wound in your thigh, come you along with me. Oh.
Come, brother John, full bravely hast thou fleshed thy maiden sword.
But soft, whom have we here? Did you not tell me this fat man was dead?
I did. I saw him dead, breathless and bleeding on the ground. Art thou alive? Or is it fantasy that plays upon our eyesight? I prithee speak. We will not trust our eyes without our ears. Thou art not what thou seemst.
No, that's certain. I am not a double man. But if I be not Jack Falstaff, then am I a Jack. There's Percy. If your father will do me any honor, so. If not, let him kill the next Percy himself. I look to be either Earl or Duke, I can assure you.
Why, Percy, I killed myself and saw thee dead.
Didst thou? Lord, Lord, how this world is given to lying. I grant you I was down and out of breath, and so was he. But we rose, both at an instant, and fought a long hour by Shrewsbury clock. If I may be believed, so. If not, let them that should reward valor bear the sin upon their own heads. I'll take it upon my death. I gave him this wound in the thigh. If the man were alive and would deny it, zoons, I'd make him eat a piece of my sword.
This is the strangest tale that ever I heard.
This is the strangest fellow, brother John. Come, bring your luggage nobly on your back. For my part, if a lie may do thee grace, I'll gild it with the happiest terms I have. The trumpet sounds retreat. The day is ours. Come, brother, let us to the highest of the field, to see what friends are living, who are dead.
I'll follow, as they say, for reward. He that rewards me, God reward him. If I do grow great, I'll grow less. For I'll purge and leave sack, and live cleanly, as a nobleman should do.
Thus ever did rebellion find rebuke. Ill-spirited Worcester, did not we send grace, pardon, and terms of love to all of you? And wouldst thou turn our offers contrary, misuse the tenor of thy kinsman's trust? 3 knights upon our party slain today. A noble earl and many a creature else had been alive this hour, if like a Christian thou hadst truly borne betwixt our armies true intelligence.
What I have done, my safety urged me to. And I embrace this fortune patiently, since not to be avoided it falls on me.
Bear Worcester to the death, and Vernon too. Other offenders we will pause upon. How goes the field?
The noble Scot, Lord Douglas, when he saw the fortune of the day, quite turned from him. The noble Percy slain, and all his men upon the foot of fear fled with the rest. And falling from a hill, he was so bruised that the pursuers took him. At my tent, the Douglases, and I beseech your grace I may dispose of him.
With all my heart.
Then, brother John of Lancaster, to you this honourable bounty shall belong. Go to the Douglas, and deliver him up to his pleasure, ransomless and free. His valour shown upon our crest today hath taught us how to cherish such high deeds, even in the bosom of our adversaries.
I thank your grace for this high courtesy, which I shall give away immediately.
Then this remains that we divide our power. You, son John, and my cousin Westmoreland, towards York shall bend you with your dearest speed to meet Northumberland and the prelate Scroop, who, as we hear, are busily in arms. Myself and you, son Harry, will towards Wales to fight with Glendower and the Earl of March. Rebellion in this land shall lose his sway, meeting the check of such another day. And since this business so fair is done, let us not leave till all our own be won.
Henry IV, Part 1 by William Shakespeare starred Julian Glover as King Henry IV, Jamie Glover as Henry, Prince of Wales, Jonathan Keble as Sir Henry Percy, and Timothy West as Sir John Falstaff. Mistress Quickly was played by Prunella Scales, the Earl of Westmoreland by John Rowe, the Earl of Northumberland by Christian Rodsker, the Earl of Worcester by Geoffrey Whitehead, Lady Percy by Lucy Briers, Sir Richard Vernon by Sean Baker, and the Earl of Douglas by Crawford Logan. Poins was Roger May, Bardolph, Chris Pavlo, Peto Ben Crow, Prince John of Lancaster Tom Ward, and Sir Walter Blunt David Lyon. Music was specially composed by Matthew Scott, and technical presentation was by Graham Harper. The production assistant was Lizzie Hart. Henry IV Part 1 was adapted and directed by Gordon House.
Next week's play of the week is The House Swap by Peter Tinniswood. Sid and Alma Fiedelman have house swapped with a couple of American academics, but the Fiedelmans didn't plan for an unpaid tenant. They seem to have acquired not only a house, but a ghost.
He was sitting there on a stone bench, a stooped old man with flimsed grey hair crackling wearily over his collar. He was wearing a black jacket and a white waistcoat. There was a tremor to his hands. There was a damp, white film sliming his eyes.